Okay, so here's the countertop. It's our island. It's where we sit down to eat in our cute little cottage cozy cabin. This is my absolute favorite. This is an oxtail. The other food that I've been incorporating are tortillas, which is crazy because tortillas were like a big no-no. Some really high quality milk, add in the collagen, so it becomes a very like creamy, fatty drink that is nourishing me in the morning. Hello, it's me, Susha here. I have been so excited to refilm a video on what's in my fridge, my freezer, and my pantry, because if you watch my what's in my freezer fridge video a few years ago, I was not just animal based, but very heavy on the red meat, really no other variety in my meals. And my goal at that time was like, okay, yes, I'm animal based, I want to stay here, I want to thrive in this. But what I noticed is when I did want to have variety of foods, I kind of really struggled. And so the goal has been to allow myself to increase the variety and help my gut actually thrive off of variety rather than staying with just one diet. And I'm also gonna just chat with you on like, you know, what I've been eating lately, any fun things about the foods that I'm eating, where I source from. So come along. Biggest thing when you're going into a chest freezer is you want gloves. It gets really cold down there, and even with the gloves, my hands start getting really frozen. So let's put the gloves on. We got this chest freezer almost a year ago, and it actually somehow fits perfectly in our little cottage studio, cute little kitchen area. So really excited about this. One of the things that we get the most excited about is supporting our local farmers and ranches and then trying out the variety of meats that they have to offer. So most recently, we placed an order from Primal Pastures, which is based in the San Diego area, specifically in Temecula. We got like just a variety of really fun things from them, starting with pork lard. So this is basically like pork fat, and you can do so many things with them. What we envision with this is rendering it down, cooking with it, but then also making some homemade tamales with this incredible Primal pasture-raised pork lard. So really, pork can be amazing for you when it's high quality and properly sourced. Okay, ground beef. Ground beef is definitely a staple. Usually I have a ton more ground beef, but we need to place an order soon and restock up on the ground beef. Every ground beef I found is different from different farms and ranches. Some of them are more gristly. That has to really, that depends on the actual meat of the animal and how muscly it is or how young it is. And then also the processor that a company uses. So I've had ground beef before where literally there's tiny shards of bone, which is just really not ideal because if you accidentally bite into that, that can crack a tooth. So really take your time, try out different ground beefs before you find one that works for you. I've really been enjoying this Primal Pastures ground beef, so I definitely think we'll be getting more of this. We are big lamb fans here. This will be our first time trying the lamb shank from, or just any lamb in general from Primal Pastures as well. Lamb shank is like such an incredible cut when you braise it up. It just falls apart, and then as you can see, it has some really nice gelatinous fatty tissue on it, which is it's just so good. Another type of meat I've been incorporating in the past few years is chicken. I didn't really used to eat a lot of chicken, but trying to eat more to my cycle and just having a variety, I've been incorporating a lot more seafood, which I'm actually not too stocked up on right now, but usually we'll try to get some nice salmon or tuna or mahi-mahi, but then also chicken. And it just feels like a lighter meat. You could use it and it just really pulls in any flavor that you cook it up with. And so we're trying out the chicken feet from Primal Pastures and then also whole chicken. We've already baked up and grilled up a few of the chicken. So when we baked up this chicken, it just felt so flavorful and also really tender. And every chicken, it really does feel different. This one, as you can see, it's a bit of a smaller whole chicken, but I feel like when you're getting a good chicken, it's not just fluffed up, fattened up, just like they do to cows and a ton of other animals. You're getting a chicken that's just very reasonable in size. It might be more of an investment, but you're just getting so much nutrient density and flavor and enjoyment from the meal. One of the foods that I've been the most excited about as far as reincorporating back into my diet, and not even just reincorporating, but really recreating my relationship with gluten and bread and really allowing myself to enjoy and celebrate bread as nourishment is sourdough bread. And basically when we get a loaf at the farmer's market, we cut it up and we freeze it. So this is a coastal sourdough bread from the brand Underground Bread Co. And we get it at our local farmer's market. Really incredible. I've been doing mornings where I do avocado toast with the sourdough bread and some eggs on top, and it just hits so good. I do some microgreens and maybe even some arugula on the side, and I have found that that has been like so nice to set my digestion up for the day and also have those variety of foods. The other food that I've been incorporating are tortillas, which is crazy because tortillas were like a big no-no. Anytime I had like a full burrito or a taco, I was like, okay, I'm gonna not feel good after this, but this is a brand we found called Stacy's Organic Tortillas, and it's so clean, such clean ingredients for the tortillas. So I feel really good about this and they taste delicious. We'll usually do like a breakfast burrito meal where we do some pork, some bacon, some eggs, cut up some really nice peppers, some onions, sometimes tomatoes, and it turns out so delicious. The other really great thing about having a chest freezer is you can meal prep your food and then you just have a lot of food stocked up. So just the other night I made some chicken bone broth. We usually collect all of our bones and I batch make it. And then what I like doing with broth is either just sipping on it or cutting up veggies like root veggies and then letting that all soak up, putting some nice leafy greens in here, and then having that as like a nice veggie bone broth soup. Also been doing rice again, so I always have some rice prepped. This is chicken bone broth rice. So the same bone broth, but I also cooked some rice in it. So you're getting that nice collagen, some more protein in your rice, and it feels like a really complete meal when you add in some meat and some other amazing things with the rice. So the other week we visited a place called the Mini Barn in Ramona. It's kind of like a 24/7 honor system little farmer's market shack where you can get amazing things that are locally sourced. One of the things that the Mini Barn in Ramona was stocked with was meat from a ranch called Cahuilla Mountain Ranch, which is a ranch run by the natives actually here in Southern California. I hope to one day visit, but we got some beef flap meat, which I'm really excited about. I think it's gonna come out incredible when it's marinated. And then also, we've never had quail before, but this is something that we just love, is like trying out completely new, different types of meats, different types of animals, supporting different local farms and ranches. It's just, I feel like it's what life is about. Another ranch we discovered, it's called Sage Mountain Ranch. It's also in the San Diego area, but specifically in Anza, so it's way more inland. We found them at our local farmer's market, and we got a beef T-bone steak cut, and then also these beautiful pork chops. They're a little bit more frosty right now, but very excited. These are the types of cuts we get when we want to kind of celebrate and do a date night at home, but they're still like incredible cuts that if you were gonna go to a restaurant, it would probably not be as high quality, not from your local ranch, and then also probably a lot more on the price point. So this is a really nice way to still stay stocked up, especially when you're getting a good deal, but then you can pull these out, defrost them when you know you wanna have an intentional date night. This is an oxtail. This is actually from a cool little market that we went to in Northern California. So beef from a Northern California 100% grass-fed cattle ranch, and this is like, oxtail is just incredible. Anytime we travel somewhere, we're always so excited about what are the local farms, ranches, markets where we can find just what is their local meat, what are they known for. And so they had oxtails, and I was really excited to find this because there's only one oxtail per cow, so this is definitely a delicacy. So we still do go to the grocery store because as much as we love buying directly from farms and ranches, then sometimes we just need to kind of grab things, but we still stock up. So we still try to buy a lot of it. So we're not going often, especially where we live. We're not super close to our like go-to grocery stores. But this is Beeler's. This is probably the best grocery store line of pork you can get. It's still very consciously raised, high quality pork. And these are ground pork sausages. We also just have a plain ground pork. really clean ingredients, just light seasoning on them. And you know, I was mentioning that I like to have some lighter meats, kind of like chicken or pork, and not just red meat all the time. That has really helped me also with digestion and just variety and nutrients. And so ground pork is definitely a staple. I'm having this at least a few times a week. We really love making our breakfast burritos with those Stacy tortillas with this ground pork. Also, bacon is a treat. So I've been getting the Beeler's bacon. One day we would ideally like to get a hog share, which is kind of like a cow share. You're getting either a half or a whole hog or a pig, and you're getting like everything. You're getting ground pork, you're getting bacon, but you're getting pork chops, you're getting, yeah, everything you would get kind of like in the cow. So outside we have the Traeger, which is basically, it looks like a grill, but it smokes up meat. You can think of it as it's kind of like slow cooking meat, but it's smoking it up, which gives it this like barbecue essence. And I personally am not actually the one smoking things up. My man Kevin does an incredible job. He pours so much love into it. And so we definitely have a few cuts in here that we save for days that we just want to dedicate to smoking up a meat. It just feels like a whole day, a whole event, a whole food celebration day where he's smoking different meats up, and then we're like tasting it and then eating it just with our hands. So this is a half brisket. Really excited to try this. We haven't done a brisket on the Traeger yet, I think, just because they're really big. It takes a lot of time, but we will get to this brisket soon. We've done one in the oven before. These are beef back ribs. We've done one of these before. They look beautiful. It's not like a ton of meat, but it's really fun to eat off the bone. This is my absolute favorite. We've done one of these before. This is a tri-tip, which you've probably heard of, but this smoked up is like, oh my gosh, it's a whole experience. So I'm really excited that we still have some cuts that we can put on the Traeger. Wanted to show you one of our big bags of bones, but we have a few in the chest freezer. This is where we eat meat off the bone, but then we save all the bones. Then I batch make it into bone broth, and we really try to like squeeze all we can, all the collagen, all the gelatinous goodness from the bones. Also cool, we found these stew hens from a local farm here, and basically these hens are not as soft and tender as your typical whole chicken like I showed you before. So they're at a better price point, but they're really ideal for like slow cooking for a long period of time. You can tell there's just so much, you know, good muscle and nutrition in the chicken. So this has been like a totally new find. And this is what I mean, where like you can't just necessarily get this anywhere, but things like the oxtail or the stew hens or the pork lard, like you do your searching and be open to experimenting with making different things, and then it just becomes like a whole experience when you get that variety. And you're also eating nose to tail. Nose to tail is like you're eating all parts of the animal, which means you're getting all the different types of nutrition. And then as someone who is cooking and really pouring into your food, you're building that skill set of being able to work and utilize all parts of the animal. And then ultimately it's just honoring the animal, because a cow is not made up of just steaks. A cow has so many different parts to it. So that's why I love the concept of cow shares or hog shares, or just, you know, seeing what your local farmer rancher has available too. Besides that, we just freeze any, you know, fruit that is getting super ripe. So berries, bananas, we've got a variety in there, and the berries and bananas we usually stir in with our oatmeal and cook that up when we do oatmeal. So we just get that variety of nutrition, minerals, vitamins, all the good stuff. Okay, so here's the countertop. It's our island. It's where we sit down to eat in our cute little cottage cozy cabin. It's a studio. It's a studio, it's not a cabin, but it's cute. Okay, so we have chickens on property. It's like a 1 acre property, and these are some of the incredible eggs. I love to forage our rosemary and lavender here. I love taking bunches to my friends too, but I like to create a little nest for the eggs, and then the eggs have like a soft bed to lay on. But because there's been kind of like an egg shortage, not as many eggs at the grocery store, and then, you know, the chickens aren't always laying all the eggs, but we like eating eggs, we did go to a local farm in Ramona and get these beautiful organic pasture-raised eggs. So yeah, we love eggs. It feels nice to have these eggs, and because they are you know, unwashed and they're just fresh from these chickens, they don't have to be in the refrigerator, which helps saves us space because our fridge is just really not that big. We have this beautiful molcajete, which is from Kevin's mom. We're really excited about it, but he makes incredible guacamole. I grind up some nice herbs in here, so that's super fun. I do garlic, and I also do onions, which is very different because I didn't used to do anything. Like, I literally used to just have beef and salt and then some honey, which I'm gonna show you our honey collection in a second. But adding onions and garlic, it just is a great prebiotic for so many things, a lot of benefits. Garlic is so good for immunity. Onions are too. They are medicinal, so I still like using them intentionally, but that is definitely an addition. We have some great local avocados in this part of San Diego. A lot of avocado growers, and then a lot of citrus. And citrus is incredible because it's kind of like a winter season fruit, but also a summer season. So it's kind of like growing all of the time because everyone's trees are kind of like, you know, on one cusp of the season. So we have a friend that grows citrus. Kevin's parents also have incredible citrus. So always stocked up with the citrus. And then here I want to show you our honey collection. Okay, so we kind of love honey, and then it's just become this thing where we collect the local honey wherever we travel to. So when we did our trip up to the Central Coast in California, we got this incredible honey, and it's actually from berries, which we hadn't really fully seen before, and it has this immaculate taste. So this is something we very much just savor. We've got some local honeys that are actually from here in Fallbrook where we are, some orange and wildflower honey. This is what I usually lean into when I'm making my morning matchas, my morning elixir and drinks. And then we also have some bee pollen. Bee pollen is incredible. This is also from a local farm. And one thing with bee pollen, if you're having it, it's good to drizzle some honey on it to just maximize the benefits. And then we also always have varieties of salt. So we have our Malden salt, we have our Celtic sea salt, we have a few other salts like Redmond real salt, really trying to get a diverse amount of electrolytes and sodium and just really nourishing salt. So put it in your water, put it in your cooking, and then I just feel like that really helps with minimizing my headaches, allowing me to have just more stamina throughout the day. Okay, I love this island space because I definitely have a lot of storage. I love embodying the energy of a barista. I used to be a barista for a few months and I love making my drinks. So this is like my little section for that. I have Maya Moon ceremonial cacao, which I've shared before, but cacao is just wonderful and I love sprinkling rose petals on it, steeping it with amazing herbs. I always am stocked up on cardamom. Cardamom just brings me back home to India and it tastes so good in my matcha, in my cacao, and everything. And then I have a few versions of matcha that I've tried. There's a local tea shop in San Diego called Paru Tea. And so I have some of their matcha, and then I've also been trying out this Peak ceremonial matcha, which I really am loving. And then, I mean, Kevin and I kind of gone down a rabbit hole of just trying a ton of different herbs for different benefits, especially as we try to heal different things in each of our bodies. And so these bags are kind of, yeah, all of our tea. One day I will have enough space where I have beautiful mason jars of every single herb, but that's what we're working with for now. The oatmeal we get is this sprouted oats. And then we also get a regenerative organic rice for our rice. I got some quinoa down in there. Got a few other teas, honey variations, grain variations, just for all that variety. I've been trying out beans. I'm still working on beans. It still doesn't fully sit in well, but trying out pinto beans, kidney beans have been doing decent for me. And then the one supplement that I actually really just have sometimes is collagen. Collagen is like the most abundant protein that your body can have. And so I usually add this to my oatmeal, or if I'm like teaching a class really early and just having matcha, which I don't recommend just doing that, but with the matcha I have some really high quality milk, add in the collagen. So it becomes a very like nutrient dense, protein rich, creamy, fatty drink that is nourishing me in the morning. We love juices too, so if we can, we get a very fresh option at the farmer's market, but if not, we get like an organic option that has no additives. So pomegranate is our favorite, and then we tried out a new one, which we still haven't opened yet. It's a pure aloe leaf juice, so this looks amazing. It's like 3 pounds of aloe pulp in here. And then appliances, love my stainless steel Vitamix. This is like my favorite thing in the world. I make all of my drinks over in this thing. We have an Instant Pot, and then also we can make our way to the fridge area, but up above here, we have a mixer. Kevin got this for me for Christmas. It's the only fully stainless steel mixer, and I have recently made homemade marshmallows, which I put in my cacao, which are like full of gelatin, so I'm really excited that the mixer is coming in handy. Just made homemade chocolate chip cookies as well. And okay, so the fridge is not very looking pretty, but I just want to show you. So milk is kind of like definitely a staple. It's definitely something we dedicate space into in the fridge. Got some juice in there. I batch made some sweet potatoes, batch made some rice, pork, tortillas, lemon. I got a few nut butters. I'm a big fan of tahini, and then also peanut butter, nutso. These are all just like add-ins for our oatmeal. And then also maple syrup is big. So maple syrup if I'm making like a nice French toast with sourdough bread, adding maple syrup to my cacao. And then we usually always have butter. And then the produce is really where it's at for the fridge as well. So I've been doing a lot more leafy greens. These are dandelion greens. We actually need to restock, but I do have a good variety in here. This is a zucchini. We are big on root vegetables, so got some carrots, some beets. And then usually if we didn't just finish it, we usually have arugula, maybe some microgreens, maybe some spinach. And then this is our little freezer section. So I know I showed you basically our big freezer section, but we have some frozen ginger, frozen turmeric, and I usually cut up vegetables. This is one example, like we had a huge purple cabbage, and so I just cut it up and froze it, and that really makes it easy to cut up and eat things. Got some frozen fennel, apple cider vinegar, got some nice regular vinegar, salt, ghee, and that's really about it. That's really everything that we have here in our kitchen, and gives you a really good glimpse of what I have been eating these days. Again, it feels so good to have some variety. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you some ideas to nourish. I'm gonna add in some links of some of the ranches and farms and places that we've tried out that we've really enjoyed. There's definitely a lot of things that we'll eat once in a while that I don't have all at the same time, like seafood. Sometimes we'll get wild game like venison or elk or bison, some ancestral blend beef. So really keeping in mind that wherever you go, see what's available. Like if you're getting fish, like in California, there's a lot of tuna off of our coast. So trying to lean into those natural sources and seeing what is the most available, what's the most local where you live. And then also really asking yourself, like, are you attaching to one diet because that feels like your identity, that feels like the thing to do? That's very much what I did when I was just eating primarily red meat, and also way back when I was vegan, plant-based. Or are you eating with the goal of like, okay, how can I really train my metabolism? How can I create a really healthy gut to be able to enjoy variety, but still prioritizing the highest quality food? So like sometimes we'll make pizza, we'll get sourdough dough and then make our own homemade pizza. And then even with chocolate chip cookies, using like really high quality chocolate chips and organic sugar and flour, and seeing how that feels in your body. So it's consistently iterating, it's consistently experimenting, it's consistently having so much fun with your food, and then doing it in a way that feels beneficial for you, feels like you're circulating your money, and feels really good to support these local farms and ranches, and then also feels like you're saving time and being efficient, so that helps with the freezer and the meal prep and all of that. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a like, comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll have some links down in the bio as well.